another detour from my contemplative forest power walks. And as you know now, we go to the interminable path, our secret place here, where we find wisdom from the forest. So today, it's going to be uplifting. If you have watched my videos and read my books, you know how to overcome storms. You know how to slay your demons, reject the sirens, and get rid of the emotional vampires. So, you've gone through a storm. Now what? You just don't transition from warrior archetype to master of abundance. Why is that? Well, because if you've been in a fighting mode, or a protective mode, or a defensive mode, you've developed some skills, developed some ways of dealing with it, which are wonderful for storms, but dysfunctional beyond the storms. So we have to see that we're doing a transition here from hell to paradise. And I don't mean paradise as something wonderful, Pollyanna-ish. Paradise is really the ability to see the opportunities you have in your vicissitudes and in your good fortune. So you're constantly in a creative mode and constantly taking care of yourself. So what do we need to cultivate when we come out of the storms? First, you congratulate yourself because you overcame a storm. Then, if you're able to do that, what we do is we begin to develop the skills needed to accept yourself as a good person. Because you've been beat up emotionally, physically and mentally exhausted, and that affects self-esteem. And when self-esteem is affected, then there's a tendency to devalue yourself or sometimes even to punish yourself. Not acceptable anymore. So what do? We bring back that self that is worthy, that is loved, and that can gain power again by the self-caring methods that I'm going to be talking about here. The first one is to resolve in the now. You're going to have some memories coming in, the prison of nostalgia, it could have been, how it was, none of that. The moment that happens, you stop. And you don't think about something wonderful that's going to happen today. What you do is you go into your now and do something worthy for the now. And the worthiness could be just touching your arm, patting your back, taking a deep breath, drinking some water, looking around. In the little things is where the depth of your healing is. Otherwise, you look for external reward. You might say, I'm just having all these negative thoughts again. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant and have a wonderful dinner. You can do that, but you're not dealing with the now. The now is the enslaver. So although you've given all that up, the residuals come on. So the first thing is you resolve in the now in a self-caring way, in the most simple way, as I explained to you. Second, since you've given up the vampires and the people that were draining you, you have to begin to cultivate the people that you know already that are worthy of staying, and finding very cautiously and carefully people that are worthy of your love. Friends, lovers, whatever, colleagues. So gradually you're rebuilding self, maybe for the first time in your life. Learning that the worthiness that you have has to be experiential. You have to show it to yourself. You don't do empty affirmations, I'm wonderful, that doesn't work. You have to give the brain evidence of what you are. And you give your brain evidence by practicing self-caring. So you bring back your belongingness, which is permission to be wherever you are. You bring back your joy by giving significance to everything you do. For example, I'm giving significance to what I'm doing right now here with you. And companionship is beginning to treat yourself in a very caring way when nobody's looking. Quality of the relationship when nobody's looking. A theater without an audience. And if you do those things, then you're going to be looking at people that fit into that mode of living. Then be aware that in the process of regaining your joy, you have to look at what's important when you're building new friendships and relationships. The first thing you look for is the ability of the other person to be reliable. Very quickly, you'll see the precursors of reliance. The precursors of reliability will be there. If somebody is not reliable once, no big deal. Nobody's perfect. But if you see a pattern of unreliability, even as simple as being late all the time, not good. And at that time, since you're not invested, you drop it. So you don't look for perfection. You look for the potential of joy. The second one is that you look for ways of understanding that people make mistakes like you do, but they have to have the capacity to acknowledge it and apologize. And the third, which is looking at the totality of the relationship. And this is with new people or people that you know already. The totality of the relationship always looks at the totality of the relationship in times of storms. Somebody makes a mistake, somebody's indiscreet, somebody does something that hurts you. Measure it based on the totality of the relationship, not on what happened. Otherwise, it'll be, what have you done for me lately? So all of those things are ways to redirect yourself and cultivate the terrain of joy and abundance. And lastly, you are here with an inherent right to be abundantly joyful, healthy, and wealthy in whatever that means to you. You don't have to earn it, it's within you. You can feel like you're losing it when you're not doing the right thing, or like you're getting it when you're doing the right thing. It's there. It's yours. All you have to do is bring it out and live up to it. So this is just the first installment of cultivating your joy beyond the storm. Practice this, and you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. So, beyond the storms is a worthy self. Enjoy.